Hey everyone, it's Dan, and it's time for Chaos. It's my Maelstrom Wanderer Commander deck. Now with other deck techs, you'll notice that people will be really organized, and they'll have like all of their things sorted out by mana cost or type or everything. This one really didn't, because this one's about as chaotic as you can get. There were a few different commanders I could use. I used this one because I like to cascade twice. That's really what he's there for. There's not a whole lot of swinging. This deck is really not about winning, it's about making the game fun. And fun is very subjective. You may have heard of decks that are called group hug decks, where everyone you help everyone win. This one I like to call group junk kick, or dick slap, or things like that, where you pretty much make it so that everyone's kind of annoyed. Pretty much. Alright, my lands are all here, but they're all basics except for a Terramorphic Expanse and an Evolving Wilds. Here's the Wilds. The lands are randomly, some old, some new, some full art, just stuff. I better back up a bit, because there we go, you're seeing some spoilers. Okay, and that's always a great place to start. We'll start with Eye of the Storm. What this card is good for is that it basically means that every instant or sorcery that's played after it's in play stacks on and is cast later. So here's some examples. Let's say someone plays Lightning Bolt. Okay, 3 damage. Then someone plays Divination, draw 2 cards, but they also Lightning Bolt. Then let's say someone plays Recollect, bring a card back from their graveyard. They also draw 2 cards and Lightning Bolt. Then let's say someone plays Wrath of God. Now anytime anyone plays an instant or sorcery, they also wipe the board. This gets fun, it's fast. This is the most annoying card in this deck. It has a pretty obnoxious ability, but basically what it does is it starts thinning people's decks by exiling cards, and it relatively functionally randomizes the turn order. This is a pain in the butt, and if you have more than one of these out, you are a terrible person and should stop playing Magic. Gate to the Aether. At everyone's upkeep, the top card of their library is flipped, and if it's a non-planeswalker permanent, it goes into play for free. And it's not their land drop if it's a land. So you get to still play more lands. Everyone likes this card. Storage Matrix. People don't really like this one. You only get to untap artifacts, creatures, or lands, which is a pain in the butt for some people. Mana Flare. Everyone's lands make an extra mana. This is really handy and allows you to power out those 6 and 8 drop artifacts and enchantments. Tide of War. Whenever anyone blocks, you flip a coin, and either everyone that's blocked dies, or everyone that's blocking dies. This can be fun. You don't run a lot of blockers in here, so you pretty much want people to be killing each other. Thieves' Auction. Oh my god, if you ever play this after Eye of the Storm, then you just want to quit. Because everyone takes a turn gaining control over a permanent, and none of your permanents matter who has them. So you can just take all the good stuff. But if you do this every turn, or every instant sorcery, that's bad news. Magus of the Vineyard gives everyone mana at their main phase. This is good to play early because it powers you into other good stuff. Noble Benefactor. Whenever he dies, everyone searches for a card and puts it into their hand. Doesn't have to reveal it. It's pretty cool. Warp World. Oh my god, this card is fun. If someone's playing a token deck, you pretty much make them win. Otherwise, yeah, it's just fun. Veteran Explorer. When he dies, everyone searches their library for 2 basic lands, up to 2 basic lands, and puts them into play. Untapped. Really good to get rid of early. Impulsive Maneuvers. This one's fun, especially if you somehow can get multiple of these out. I used to be able to do that, I don't anymore. You flip a coin, either creatures deal double damage or 0 damage in combat, so always fun, good ways to live. Psychic Battle. Basically, whenever anyone chooses a target, everyone reveals the top card. Whoever has the highest confirmed mana cost may choose the targets, unless there's a tie. This is fun because if one person's winning the top card, they control all targets until their card goes away. Trinisphere. Oh my god, Draiноsphere. This is fun. All spells cost a minimum of 3 mana, even if they'd be free, even if you paid an alternate cost. So that's annoying. Goblin Game. Oh, geez, Goblin Game. The only card in Magic that I know of that actually refers to physical outside of the game objects, and it isn't an unhinged card. It's also a good way to kill people. Confusion in the ranks. Good when people are choosing targets because you switch control with another target permanent. Good for swapping around things. Token decks tend to gain all the good creatures this way. Knowledge Pool. I'm so glad this is in a foreign language, so I have to explain it to people every time I play it. When it comes into play, everyone exiles the top 3 cards of their library under Knowledge Pool. Whenever anyone plays a spell, you instead exile it under Knowledge Pool as it's on the stack. Then you choose another spell, a different spell that was exiled on Knowledge Pool, and you play that instead for free. This gets really annoying fast, especially if people can only play 1 spell per turn. This is a thing that can happen. It means that no one can play spells. Ever. We got Rites of Flourishing. Everyone draws an extra card and can play an extra land. Everyone likes this card. Uba Mask. Every card that you draw, you can only use it the turn you draw it, otherwise it stays exiled. Because while it is removed from the game face up, you can only play cards you remove from the game this turn. So if you don't play it this turn, it's gone forever. Harpy of Spring. Lands make an extra mana, just like that Mana Flare, but in better condition. Worry Beads. At the top of everyone's upkeep, they mill 1. It's mildly obnoxious, but it does stop people who are doing things like end a turn. I'm going to Enlighten Tutor for something really cool, and then you're going to mill it. Anvil of Bogarden. Everyone skips their discard phase. Basically, everyone has no max hand size, but during your draw phase, you draw an extra card and then discard a card. Pretty cool. Possibility Storm. Oh my god, this is such a good card to have. Whenever you cast a card from your hand, you exile it, then basically cascade for a card of the same type. Yeah. Planar Chaos. You do have to flip a coin every upkeep, but every spell has a 50% chance of being countered, including yours. Have fun. Teferi's Realm. This is fun teaching people what phasing means. Phasing does mean that everything that's attached to it does come back, and it is like it never left play, it just isn't there, so it will be out of Summoning Sickness. But this is all cards of that type, include everyone's cards, not just yours, phase out, and they only phase in on your turn. Time Reversal is a good way to get your graveyard back and to get rid of big grips of cards that people have. We've got Noetic Scales. Everyone, at their upkeep, they bounce creatures that are power greater than the number of cards in their hand. This is good if someone has a fatty, because it always goes back to their hand. This is Howling Mine on a dude, so I had to play it. Temporal Cascade. This card is fun, because if you don't have 9 mana, you only have 7, you can do just the top one, and every player shovels his or her hand and graveyard into their library. And then you put a period on it so that no one has a hand. Scrambleverse. Oh, Jesus, Scrambleverse. You randomly rearrange all non-land permanents. This is kind of a dick move. Grand Melee. Everyone must attack and block. This is fun. Mostly means you're going to die, though. Howling Mine, everyone draws an extra card. This is never going to tap. Elkin Lair. This card is fun. During every upkeep, that player chooses a card at random from their hand, sets it, and basically exiles it face up. They may play it this turn. If they don't play it this turn, it hits their graveyard. So that can be fun. Risky Move. This enchantment actually passes itself around the table, and when you get it every turn, you have a 50% chance to pass one of your creatures to an opponent. Wild Evocation. At your upkeep, you randomly play a card from your hand for free. I have forced people to Wrath of God their own extensive board position. This is fun. Sulfuric Vortex. No one can gain life, and everyone takes 2 at their upkeep. This is a good way to make sure that the game actually does stuff. We've got Stronghold Gambit. Everyone chooses a card in their hand and reveals it. Whoever reveals the cheapest creature may put it into play. If you tie, everyone gets it. This is a good way to see a card in everyone's hand and also get into play like a Veteran Explorer. It only costs 1 extra mana, but it gets extra stuff. also doesn't cost green. You can also do this and watch other people play creatures and have fun. You've got Sands of Time. Instead of doing an untap step, you have a toggle step. So instead of untapping all your stuff, you untap your tapped stuff, and you tap your untapped stuff. Without mana burn, this does mean that everyone's going to have all their lands all the time, because they'll just tap them at the end of turn. But your creatures are going to be toggling, and that's kind of useful. Razor Pendulum, this makes it so that people die when they're supposed to. If you have 5 or less life, you take 2. So people who are hanging on to a sliver of health will die. Total War. You must attack with all creatures that can attack, otherwise they die. So attack. Helm of Awakening, all spells cost less mana. This is awesome. Game Preserve. Everyone reveals the top card of their library. If everyone reveals a creature, they all go into play. That's pretty awesome. Hive Mind. Oh, Jesus, Hive Mind. This card can be fun. We're going to just assume that other people play instants and sorceries. Let's say someone plays Cultivate. Now everyone gets a land, and a land into their hand. Let's say someone plays Doomblade. Everyone gets to kill a creature. Let's say someone plays Boundless Realms. Everyone gets to double their lands. Hounded Mythos. Doubled up Howling Mine. Everyone gets to draw 2 cards. Arcane Lab. Everyone can only play 1 spell. This comes in handy for things like Possibility Storm. You just get to exile your cards, and you never get to play spells. Knowledge Pool, you never get to play spells. Not Wild Evocation. What the hell was that card? The one where you play randomly from your hand? I can't brains right now. That card says that that's the only spell you get to play, is the one from your hand. Shared Fate. Basically, this reads you draw from other players' libraries. You don't actually put them in your hand, you leave them exiled, face down, so that no one else can see them. And you can play those as long as Shared Fate is out. So instead of drawing from your library, you draw from someone else's. Task Mage Assembly. Anyone may pay 2 as a sorcery to deal 1 damage to a creature. Basically, it gives everyone the ability to kill off things. Eladrin's Vineyard. It's just like Magus of the Vineyard, but it's an enchantment instead of a dude. New Frontiers. This is a good way to make people happy and to make the game suddenly ramp up. Take all of your mana and sink it into giving everyone a lot of mana. Sunken Hope. At everyone's upkeep, they have to bounce a creature. This is kind of a jerk move. Quicksilver Fountain. At everyone's upkeep, one of their lands becomes an island. And they only stop being islands once everyone has islands. This is fun. Leyline. Not Leyline of anything, just Leyline. At everyone's upkeep, they can +1/+1 one of their guys. That's pretty cool. Dreamborn Muse. Everyone mills at their upkeep equals the number of cards in their hand. This is also kind of a jerk move. Omen Machine. All you really need in this one, the rest of it's pretty cool. The fact that you get to play the spell at the top of your library, which combos well with Rule of Law. But players can't draw cards at all for any reason. So that's fun. Oh, I missed a land. Well, bam. This card is Saproling Cluster. You've probably never seen it before because it's really weird and pretty bad. But anyone may pay 1 and discard a card as an instant and make a 1/1 Saproling. This combos well with Confusion in the ranks. Teferi's Puzzle Box. Everyone's draw step. You basically cycle your hand to the bottom of your library and then draw a new one of the same size. This can be fun, especially when players can't draw cards. Grip of Chaos. All spell targets are chosen at random. This is a giant dick move and is the best thing to ever do in the world ever. Citadel of Pain. If you have any untapped lands that you would like to use later, you take that much damage. Zur's Weirding. Everyone plays with their hand revealed, which I really like, and anyone may pay 2 when someone draws a card, which is then revealed, to make it so they don't draw that card. We've got Mana Cache. If anyone leaves lands untapped, you put counters on here, and you can use it on your turn to take counters off, and make colorless mana. Basically, share the love. And then we ended off with Armageddon Clock. This card is old balls. During your upkeep, it gets a Doom counter, and then every player takes as much damage as their counters on there, and anyone may, on any upkeep, pay 4 to remove a Doom counter. You can only do this once per upkeep, but anyone can do it on anyone's upkeep. And that's this deck. It just messes with people. That's kind of the plan, and I hope you guys had fun. That was a deck from each one of my 4 commander boxes. I will be showing off the other 7 decks that I have at some point. I am hoping to get another deck going so I can get up to a full 12, 3 in each box. But until then, you guys have a nice day, and let's go play Magic.